And I'm Mike Rorta.
And we're here from VideoGameInfo.com covering Arcane Studios' upcoming title, Dishonored.
Right.
So, Mike, you just got to play it.
I did.
What did you think?
There's no way to really sugarcoat this. I'm super duper excited to play this game for much longer than like the 5 minutes that I got to mess with it. The visual style is unique. I've never seen anything that looks like this game. In the little bit that I had a chance to kind of mess around with it, I love games that you can like sort of use the conventions that they've set up for you to do your own style of gameplay, to think like, okay, I wonder if I can pull this off, and you do something the developers hadn't thought of, but it works.
Yeah, they showed a gameplay demo that we watched before we did the hands-on,
Yeah.
and all the powers were unlocked, and you basically just had this uber powerful assassin who could go anywhere and use all these neat things like possession and time alteration, slowing down
Yeah.
time, and things like that. So what were some of the powers that you experimented with while you were there?
I didn't get to use it. I mean, it was like 5 minutes. The ones that I ended up using a lot were like this teleporting power, and that was where I fell off a tower into like a canal. I was like, how do I get out of here? So I rode a paddle wheel up the side of a building and then teleported onto a walkway that I couldn't have gotten to earlier. And like that whole experience is just, to be able to do that for me as a gamer is like the pinnacle of what I look for in a game.
Yeah. And in the gameplay demo, they also went over the fact that you can either play in a completely stealthy way and kill no one, or you can just be incredibly brutal and murder everyone in your path, just mow them down. Which way did you go?
I started out really stealthy, and then I was like, but I have this crossbow, and I haven't used it yet. And then I went nuts. It's actually really hard to play as just a straight marauder, like just going to lay waste to everybody, which I think is good because it encourages you to try some of the stealthy items and use that sort of lay waste to everybody method as a last resort. They also said in our little demo that if you do play as somebody who's just going to kill everybody in their path, it has consequences at the end of the game. You get a darker end game than you normally would. So
which makes a lot of sense. So
right.
In terms of the choice, the sort of Hitman style, sneak in and kill as few people as possible, or the broad, just murder everyone in your path. It definitely seemed like the broad murdering everyone in your path required you to really master all the different powers too.
Absolutely.
And the demo was like, I can do this, but only because I am super pro at using every little bit and piece and perfectly in sync. So maybe because you only played for 5 minutes and you didn't really know what you're doing,
right.
It was just easier to kind of stay in the shadows.
It was. It was.
Talk a little bit more about your reaction to the art design. I know I had a pretty strong reaction too. It is pretty beautiful, but tell us a little bit more about what you saw and what you liked, what you didn't like.
It's very steampunky, and it has sort of a, well, they said that their art designer is actually somebody who worked on Half-Life 2. And that is very apparent in some of the enemies, like the tall walkers and stuff. Remind me a lot of the walkers in Half-Life 2 and some of the episodes afterwards. It also has like a steampunk aesthetic to it with a very cartoonish almost palette. Like a Team Fortress 2 kind of palette where it's not hyper textures and like super high-res textures, but there's a lot of colors and a lot of geometry and stuff with sort of a flatter color palette, but it worked. It looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it looks sort of like a painting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very dynamic, moving painting that you can go around in.
Right.
You mentioned as soon as you finished playing that there was also this open environment feel.
Right.
That you were just like, I think I want to go over there. And then you could.
Yeah.
Did you bump into any kind of invisible wall scenarios where you felt like game creators were trying to prevent you from going forward?
I didn't in the demo that I played. I didn't really get to roam around a whole lot. I've heard rumors and I've read about this game a little bit ahead of time, and they sort of compared it to Assassin's Creed in that they'll give you a space, a part of a city or whatever, and you can just go anywhere. I didn't get a chance to really test that and run along rooftops or whatever. If they manage to pull that off and have like some of the interior combat as well, where you can just choose to go into any random building and fight people who sneak around, then I think that's it'd be pretty revolutionary gameplay style.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So until then, that's our first look at Dishonored. This is Caitlin Chantry and Mike Roeder for VideoGameInfo.com.